Every highway sign you've ever followed has been the same color. Green background, white letters, every exit, every city name, every mile marker pointing you somewhere. It's so normal that nobody questions it, but that color was not the obvious choice. For decades, nobody agreed on it. Some states tried orange, some tried blue. One state color-coded its entire highway system by compass direction. Green won. And the reason it won has more to do with your eyes, your headlights, and a single field test in the rain than anyone would expect. For most of history, roads had no signs at all. Travelers used maps, landmarks, or just asked someone nearby. That changed fast once cars showed up. By the early 1900s, driving across state lines meant driving into total confusion. Every town, county, and state designed its own signs. Different shapes, different colors, different symbols for the exact same warning. A driver could follow perfectly clear signs in one county and then hit a border where none of it meant the same thing anymore. As more people drove longer distances, this stopped being a minor annoyance. It became dangerous. By the 1950s, states were running real experiments to solve this, and one of them is almost forgotten today. Arizona assigned a different color to each compass direction. Signs pointing north were orange, south was green, west was blue, east was brown. Washington State ran a nearly identical system around the same time. It wasn't random. Field tests showed blue and brown signs were hardest to read when drivers faced a rising or setting sun. That left orange and green as the two strongest performers in the materials available at the time. Meanwhile, engineers were chasing a separate problem: visibility at night. Early signs used plain black letters on white backgrounds, fine in daylight, nearly invisible after dark, right as more people started driving at night and at higher speeds. The breakthrough came from reflective sheeting. Engineers found that white lettering on a dark green background threw headlight glare straight back at the driver far better than any other color combination tested. Suddenly, green wasn't just one option among several, it was clearly the best one. Green guide signs were officially written into the rulebook in 1954, 2 years before the interstate highway system was even approved by Congress. But the real test came in August 1957. Highway officials gathered near LaSalle, Illinois, where several full-size sign designs had been put up along a stretch of road. They watched those signs in daylight, in total darkness, in rain. The committee approved a final design that same day, a combination of two state submissions from Missouri and Texas. By 1961, the federal rulebook, the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, made it official nationwide. Green background, white letters, every guide sign, every state, one single standard. The four-color direction systems in Arizona and Washington didn't survive the change. Officials worried drivers would confuse a colored state sign with the new interstate system. By the mid-1960s, almost every state had dropped their own experiments and fallen in line. Visibility wasn't the only reason green won. Psychology mattered too. Green is the color of go, of permission. Stand at any traffic light, and you already know this instinctively. Red stops you. Yellow makes you cautious. Green tells you it's fine to keep moving, which is exactly the feeling a directional sign should give a driver, since it's offering guidance, not a warning. One transportation official described it simply: green blends in just enough to feel like part of the natural scenery, but still stands out enough to catch your eye exactly when you need it. There's also a physical reason. Green sits near the middle of the visible light spectrum, which is the range human eyes process most comfortably. It stays readable in bright sun, fog, rain, and darkness without the glare problems other colors create. It was, almost by accident, The perfect compromise between standing out and being easy on the eyes for hours of driving. Once green was locked in for directions, the rest of the system fell into place around it. Red is reserved for stop signs and critical warnings. Yellow cautions you about curves or intersections ahead. Orange marks construction zones. Blue points you toward services like gas stations or hospitals. And green stays dedicated entirely to direction, telling you where you're going, never warning you about danger. That's the real trick behind the whole system. Drivers don't have time to read every word on a sign at highway speed. The color alone tells your brain what kind of information it's looking at, often before you've consciously read a single letter. The next time you see a green exit sign, you're looking at the result of decades of trial and error. Failed color experiments in Arizona and Washington, a rainy field test in Illinois in 1957, engineers chasing the exact wavelength of green that headlights would reflect best. What looks like the most ordinary object on the road is actually one of the most carefully tested design decisions in American history. That's what we do at Unknown Behind Known Things. Find the real story behind the things you drive past every day and never think to question. Subscribe for more and tell us in the comments, what everyday object should we look into next?